I chose to live in Boulder for many reasons: mountains, sunshine, and its incredible bikeability. Boulder is the rare American town that has invested deeply in its bike infrastructure. According to the census, Boulder is the fourth best city for bike commuting. While only 9% of commuters in Boulder cycle to work, that 9% dwarfs the embarrassingly low U.S. average of 0.6%. The Netherlands average is 27%. So what makes Boulder the fourth best U.S. city for bike commuting? It's not that Boulder is the least obese American city, which, by the way, it totally is. Boulder has protected bike lanes, narrowed roadways, and reconfigured intersections, all to the benefit of cycling. However, Boulder's best bike infrastructure is its multi-use path network. More so than bike lanes or wide sidewalks, multi-use paths offer both enormous time savings and safety for cyclists. Over the past 35 years, Boulder has built over 100 miles of multi-use paths. Boulder is lucky to feature a number of naturally occurring waterways that flow down from the mountains and through the town. City planners in the 80s identified these waterways as corridors for multi-use paths, which were slowly added as part of flood control projects. Flood control and new bike paths are a win-win for residents, which means Boulder is always improving their network. Just look at all the proposed new segments. The U's are for underpasses. Boulder's multi-use paths are way better than even the best protected bike lanes. There's no stop signs, stop lights, or speed bumps to slow you down. So how do you pedal around town while evading car-based traffic control? Underpasses. Boulder's 80 underpasses allow cyclists to maintain speed and avoid dangerous intersections. Underpasses keep the road network and bike network completely separate, and the benefits are like magic. I marvel at the efficiency of cutting under congested 6-lane highways or passing stealthily beneath dangerous intersections. If a multi-use path does intersect with a road, you have to slow down, check the intersection, and worry about potentially being blindsided. But wait, what about overpasses? That's pretty much the same thing, right? Overpasses are often steep, narrow, and consequently slow. Boulder recently replaced one of its overpasses with an underpass, and it's a huge improvement. And in case you think I'm overstating the benefits of underpasses, Boulder actually prioritizes underpass locations based on the frequency and severity of collisions. The city is currently building an underpass at a location where sadly 86 collisions took place in only 4 years. That's about one collision every 2 weeks, and 18 of the 86 collisions involved cyclists. Cycling on multi-use paths is safer and faster, but also so much more beautiful than roads. The multi-use path network in Boulder is also known as the greenways network because there's actual green stuff, not just a never-ending sea of asphalt. Traveling along the greenways, in contrast to roadways, is incredibly pleasant. The dominant sounds are not that of cars, but rather rushing water and chirping birds. In summer, roadways become an oven. Meanwhile, on multi-use paths, the shade of trees and the snowmelt from creeks functions like a natural air conditioner. Multi-use paths are a natural antidote to the oven-like wasteland of roadways. So at this point in the video, you're probably thinking, I'm really happy for these Boulderites and their bike network. Maybe I'll visit Boulder someday and put in some miles on one of these beauties. But how do multi-use paths and underpasses apply to my current car-dominated situation? Well, if you're a transit enthusiast, you might already believe that cars and buses are really just worse versions of trains. I would like to propose that most bike infrastructure is really just a worse version of a multi-use path. When we advocate for wider sidewalks and protected bike lanes, we are still biking next to noisy, smelly, dangerous cars. We are still cyclists pedaling in a car-dominated world. To make cycling safer and faster than driving, we need to think beyond the road and build out a fully independent bike network, complete with underpasses. And that's the real beauty of multi-use paths.